9 in Philadelphia.
Hello, I'm Jill CHERNEKOFF. Thanks for joining us. There are about 10,000 individuals living on the streets of Philadelphia without shelter, jobs, food, or friends. Many of these people have some level of physical or mental impairment, and many others we call the new poor because of high unemployment. Many of them have no skills even to get a job, and certainly no money to eat. These people need your support. They need your caring, your collective effort to pull them through. You might have heard of a gentleman called Trevor Ferrell. He is in charge of Trevor's campaign. And what that campaign is one person's approach to the homeless situation. Well, now he's reaching out to all of you to help. If you'd like to learn more about it, please join our show today. I think you'll learn from it. We'll be right back. Serious crisis in our country today, and right here in our city in Philadelphia, there are thousands of people that are living on the streets. And if you walk up and down the city streets, you've seen them. They're lying on the vents, they're in the subways, they have no food, they have no money. Many of them have mental disorders, and what they have in common is they need your help. And on our show today, we have Trevor Ferrell. He is with Trevor's campaign. His father is here, Frank Ferrell. And Joe Lukens is with us, and he is with a lobbying group here in Philadelphia called Results. And Joe will be telling us a little bit about that group a little bit later on. Now, 2 million homeless people live in this country, 10,000 here in Philadelphia. As I said earlier, they're in the gutters, they're on the vents. You know where they are, you've seen them. How do you think most of the people in our society view these street people? What do you think our society in general thinks about these people that they see in the street? Do you have any feelings on that?
Well, they don't think they're human beings. They feel as though they're animals or something that they aren't, and it's not right. They think that there's something that really should be thought of, because they're human beings.
Why do you think they think that? Why do you think they're afraid of them or think they're animals, as you said?
Because they've never seen them. They just figure, well, if they live on the streets, then there's something wrong with them, because they're used to swimming pools, private schools, and all that.
You are, but not others.
Some people are. Frank?
You know, people haven't made that first step and haven't communicated with them. They don't know them the way we know them. A little over a year ago when this thing first started, I didn't know them either, and I'm not proud of the fact that I would have ignored them. I wouldn't have harmed them in any way, but I would have harmed them by ignoring them. I wouldn't have gone up and said, "Hi, how are you?" Just a simple hello. And I never would have dreamed of offering them something the way Trevor did.
You think most of us kind of look the other way? If we don't look, we won't see them. Oh, don't look at those people over there. That kind of attitude?
I think the main problem with the street people and the hungry people in general are that they're ignored, that people will look away. You know, you think of the hungry in Philadelphia are obvious. They're tougher to look away from. You know, you walk down the street, and you have to look the other way. You have to cross the street to get away from them. You know, and a much easier problem is the hungry in Africa. You change the channel when you see a hungry child come on. You can't do that in Philadelphia. They're right there in front of you.
How do you view these people differently than society in general? Do you feel differently when you look at these people?
Well, I think they're human beings, just like everybody. And there's nothing wrong with them except they have problems, but they aren't something out of the unknown.
Did you always feel that way whenever you would see them?
Well, I never really knew they really actually were street people that lived on the streets.
How did you find out that they were there?
I saw them on TV one day, and that's how I found out.
And even though they look differently than you do, and maybe they behave differently than you do, you still thought they were okay?
Yeah, you don't notice that. You really don't think about that.
Do you think that these people on the street want us to help them?
Yes, a lot of them do want your help, but some of them don't know if you're really helping them because some of them have been hurt by other, like sometimes kids used to come by and throw on blankets and light them up, and they aren't sure if you're going to do that to them or what.
Mm-hmm. So you think that this group in general is a fearful group? The people on the street are afraid themselves? They're afraid of us?
Yeah, there's this one man that we know that he says he's afraid of himself now because he has a drinking problem. They say that he's not going to live very long if he keeps up the drinking, so now he's scared of himself.
Mm-hmm. Which we can understand, and I'm sure a lot of the street people, so-called street people, do have drinking problems.
Yeah, that's one of the major problems I guess they have.
Do you think they want to live in public shelters? And I'm asking you this, not as experts on street people, but because you visit them and you talk to them and you know what their feelings might be. Do you think they want to live in the public shelters that we're trying to offer them?
Yes, I think they would like to, but some of them say that some of them are rough, really rough.
The shelters themselves?
Yeah, the shelters, yeah. Some of them have fights in them, and they just are scared to go there.
Some of the people that we see, the homeless people, many of them have mental disorders, and they've been institutionalized, and they're fearful of going back into a building again. And that's why something like this, what we're doing, has worked. It's because youngsters are involved, and the youth and the kids don't threaten them. They're not judging the people that they're seeing and serving. They're accepting them right away. And it shows to me in the faces of the people that are receiving and the kids that are giving, just a mutual letting their guard down and saying, this fellow's not here to hurt me, and
I'm okay, you're okay.
yeah.
Now, Trevor, your campaign started in December of 1983, as I understand it. Now, I realize this is a story you've told before because I've heard you tell it. I've seen you tell it many times. Share it with us again. There are some people that may not know the story from the beginning.
Okay, well, I was watching TV one day, and I was just trying to see what was on TV, and I saw street people on one of the shows that I was just flipping through, and I felt sorry for them. I really didn't think they should be living on the streets, and I didn't know exactly if this was even true, if they were just something that they might put on TV or anything. So I asked my dad to show me them and take me down and help them. And he wouldn't take me down until I begged him and begged him. After a few minutes of begging, he took me in to help the homeless. And I was really happy that he would take me in. And at first I didn't think he would take me in because I begged him so much. That he finally took me in, and I bought a blanket and a pillow, and we gave it to the man. And surprisingly, that he was really grateful.
So you walked right up to somebody on the street and said, here's a blanket, stay warm, and you weren't afraid?
Well, I was a little bit. My dad stayed a few feet behind me. But then I did a few others, and after that, I wasn't scared.
Let me ask you, Dad, why did Trevor have to beg you to take him downtown to take a look at a homeless person?
Well, I don't think he was going down out of curiosity. At that time, I just immediately dismissed it as a crazy, harebrained thing. I mean, one kid is, what can he do? And, you know, it's just, we're comfortable in the house. Why go out tonight? I mean, it's cold. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm not proud of my motivation, but my motivation was to teach him a lesson and show him that there's another world that exists that's not as bright and sunny as the world he's used to. And so we decided to go along with his pleadings, and Janet and I, his mother and I, took him in, and we came back, the students, and Trevor, or the experience, taught us a lesson.
So it was beneficial to everybody, even though that wasn't at all what you expected.